ownership and cars are a right. They're not a privilege. They're a privilege. They're not a right. And I think that each person who has some type of deadly weapon, vehicle, whatever, should go through a rigorous set of examinations or some type of hurdles to be able to get access to that. I'm sorry, not everybody that has a gun should have a gun.
You need to go in for your gun. You need to re-register. You need to get re-registered. I'm sorry, dude, but guess what? It makes sense because you know what? 5 years ago, I had a perfect marriage, and today I caught my wife cheating, and I'm in a mental state where I want to murder somebody, and I have a gun.
Welcome to the Family Office. Planning for the people who matter most.
But let's talk about the shooting. And you mentioned that it's not normal. And I want to pose a question to you that I don't really know how I feel, but I'm feeling some kind of way about gun control. And I don't want to turn this into an either or I'm, for guns or against guns, because I think that the country was founded on the idea of the Second Amendment. And I believe in that. And I believe that a person has the right to bear arms. And I believe that a person should have the right to defend him or herself against the government and against harm that could come their way. When I listen to the news and I see different stories and I read about different incidents where so many people are killed by gun violence, when you look at the number of children that are killed by gun violence, when you look at the number of school shootings, when you look at the number of maladjusted people that take their rage and their anger out on other people, when you look at just how many people get access to a gun that has no reason to have a gun, when you have the types of artillery out there that can inflict so much harm that has nothing to do with either hunting or protecting your household from some person coming in and invading your space. I think we've got to really have an in-depth conversation, because unfortunately I disagree with your notion that somebody taking a gun and shooting somebody else is not normal. It's not something that happens every day, but the statistics are really, really unfortunate. When you look at America has some of the most impactful and deadly and most ongoing gun violence in the world when you talk about individuals taking the life of somebody else. And so what are your thoughts about gun violence and then also just the whole idea of gun ownership and what guardrails, if any, should be placed on those from your perspective?
So I think that I want to draw a distinction between gun violence and assassinations.
Okay.
This was an assassination. This is not normal.
Okay. Just for a quick point of clarification, because I think that's a good point. Okay. But a person who takes a gun and goes to a school because there may have been a group of kids who disagreed
That's not normal. That's not normal either.
I agree with that, but the occurrence is so often nowadays. It's crazy. So assassinations of that type, or one individual who's a public figure.
Gun violence of that type. Violence of that type.
Okay, gotcha. So I just want to understand where you're coming from, but I wanted to interject so I could track what you're talking about. So go ahead, Chris.
Right. It's a good point. Now, I'm torn on that situation too, because again, I'm pragmatic in my thinking. So again, I see things like this and I go, shoot, man, gun control, right? Gun control. But at the same time, I go, dog pig, because at the end of the day, I can never see, because this is why having the right to bear arms is so important. and why we can't take that power away from the individual, even though we see crap like this.
Right. And I'm not suggesting that. I want you to know that.
No, I understand that. No, I understand that. I understand that. You're way too educated to understand, or to not to understand that, right? To be ignorant of that fact. You understand that. The problem that I see with it all the time, Len, is that we would rely on the virtues of a group of people that would still possess firearms. And for them to have that power, and them to only have that power, we're relying on the human nature and the virtue of those people not to ever. You get what I mean?
Yes.
I would not be okay with waking up. Like, I could never live in a country that you are not allowed to own a firearm personally, because you have a group of people that can possess firearms that you can't, that supposedly work for you, and supposedly are supposed to be public servants for you, but have authority over you and are already in a position of authority for you. And they know that they now have a trump over you, that it just gives too much power to one group of human beings to abuse it. So
I agree with all of that.
And I know you do. I know you do. And that's the problem where I'm like,
should there be guardrails? Because how many people are going out there that have mental health challenges, that have been questioned by either school authorities or have some type of rap sheet of some type? And
yes,
there should be some guardrails on this whole idea of gun ownership, because just like gun ownership and cars are a right, they're not a privilege. They're a privilege, they're not a right. And I think that each person who has some type of deadly weapon, vehicle, whatever, should go through a rigorous set of examinations or some type of hurdles to be able to get access to that. I'm sorry, not everybody that has a gun should have a gun.
This is where the advent of AI makes me excited. This is where I get excited by AI, and here's why. Okay, I agree with you, because here's another common denominator that at least I see that points out to me instinctually as I see these types of gun violent activities. Does it me, or does it, a lot of these seem to always be law enforcement backgrounds, military backgrounds, or some type of gun enthusiast background? Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? Like, for some reason, the shooter had the parents were law enforcement. That seems to be a common denominator. So yes, and why I'm saying that, whether that's true or not, I believe that the level of scrutiny does need to be greater in order to keep that freedom, simply because there's just no other organized way right now to make it, to change the crap that's going on educationally, to prevent, again, what I think is the rage of these young people doing this, because they're so confused. You're getting bullied and you're getting this and you're getting that because they're so confused. So number one, this is why AI is so exciting to me, because yes, AI can solve that gap, because there's a manpower gap. To really, Len Cooper wants a 30-06. Cool, Len. We need the IDs and the birth certificates of everyone in your household. When's the last time everyone had a physical? When's the last time? Yes, it's a pain in the ass, and yes, it's going to be horrific, and yes, I get it. I'm so anti-red tape and so anti-regulatory.
And privacy, too.
And privacy, too. I can't stand any of this crap. Like, I'm tearing up.
Yeah.
But to me, I'd rather have, every year I got to do registration for your vehicles. Every year you got to go for an annual physical. I'm sorry, but maybe bi-monthly or bi-annually or something, maybe put it to the vote of the people. You need to go in for your gun. You need to re-register. You need to get re-registered. I'm sorry, dude, but guess what? It makes sense, because you know what? 5 years ago, I had a perfect marriage, and today I caught my wife cheating, and I'm in a mental state where I want to murder somebody, and I have a gun. Hello? That's why AI excites me, because...
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree with that. I just think that creates so many challenges, but I agree with you that it's...
But AI solves them. AI solves a lot of those challenges, because AI think about it. I I know this is weird and it's out there, but eventually one day, hey, I'm going to go hunting today. Hold on a second. You're mentally sound to go hunting today. Go for it.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Because it's just, to me, it's so rehearsed and that's so personal for him to have taken that shot and to have done that you knew it was wrong, dude. And if you didn't know it was wrong, then I blame whoever was indoctrinating you and educating you. And yes, there's probably some transgender LGBT. I'm not blaming that. I'm not saying that at all. I don't want anyone to. What I'm saying is that there is stuff out there that supposedly that's there. And then not only that, you got the bullets that say hunt down fascist or whatever it said on there. So you just have too many evidentiary points that point to the fact that this was some type of hate crime as well at the same time. Because Charlie Kirk was very outspoken against transgender and but at the same time, you couldn't beat him on the debate stage, so you had to kill him. So, Len, as always, what a fruitful, eventful conversation. I've always enjoyed our time together, so I appreciate that. And again, if you got some value out of this conversation, you like what's going on, take a liking to us, take a subscribing to us, throw a comment, whatever. If you want us to talk about something, obviously, we're not going to be experts at what we're talking about. We're not going to be scripted at what we're talking about, but we're not going to be filtered at what we're talking about. We're just going to give you our opinions as we see it in the world and encouragement to hopefully you give your opinion and understanding and knowing that you could be friends and business partners with somebody and not totally agree with everything you say at the same time and have a nice debate and conversation about it and have fun doing it. So with that being said, Len, I'll see you next week.
Take care. Till next week.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.